students. Myself Nitika Garmoli, teacher at Madharas India Public School. I hope you all are safe at your home and utilizing your free time effectively. Today we are starting with the new chapter. This is chapter number 8 of Class 6 Science Part 1. The name of the chapter is Habitat of the Living Things. This chapter is very interesting. Through this chapter, you will become familiar with different types of living species which are there in our planet, and you will become familiar with the habitat of these species. So let's start the chapter. We are going to start this chapter with a question. Look at this picture. What do you see in it? I know you all know the name of this animal. This is camel, and camel lives in deserts. But do you know about all other animals which are present there in our earth and what are their habitats? So in this chapter, you will learn more about habitats, their components, different types of animals and their habitats and how they have adapted to these habitats. So answer to all these questions you are going to get from this chapter. Let's start. First of all, see what is a habitat. Habitat, living organisms are found everywhere on earth, and the animal's living place is called its habitat. See, life, it's everywhere on earth. You can find living organisms from the poles to the equators. Yes, from Arctic to Antarctic zones also you will find living organisms. From the bottom of the sea to the several miles in the air, from freezing waters to dry valleys, to undersea thermal vents to groundwater thousands of feet below the Earth's surface also. So they are everywhere on Earth. And the living place, the area you live in, including the living and non-living things in the environment, all will come under habitat. A place where an organism lives in nature is called its habitat. See this picture? Deserts, grassland, oceans, forest. These are examples of habitat. Look at the picture over here. We have already used an example of camel. Now see, a forest is the habitat of lions and tigers. A grassland is the habitat of deers. Water is the habitat of fishes. All living things get food, water, shelter from their habitats. So habitat can be described as the natural dwelling place of an organism. Now see the components of habitats. A habitat including physical surrounding as in water, air, soil, climate, and all organisms living around. All these things are grouped under the following two components. And what are these components? These are biotic and abiotic components. Abiotic components are the physical components and biotic components are the living components. So the living components means we are talking about biotic components like plants, animals and other microorganisms which are living components. Abiotic components means we are talking about air, water, soil, sunlight, temperature, rocks. Now see this chart. Habitat has been grouped into two components, biotic and abiotic components. Now see the further subdivision. Biotic components, plants, animals, microorganisms. Abiotic components, light, temperature, water, soil, air. So it's quite clear from this picture. First of all, we will discuss about abiotic components. See, all these pictures are showing abiotic components, soil, rock, air, water, sunlight, heat, etc. So abiotic components, as I have already told you, are non-living physical factors of the habitat. These are light, temperature, air, water, and soil. These have direct effect on the living organisms. Let's see all these abiotic components one by one. Sun, the ultimate source of light. Light, that is the first abiotic component we are going to discuss. Light affects photosynthesis, movement, flowering, growth, germination, etc. In plants. It keeps some animals more active during the daytime than at night. So it is required for animals as well as for plants. Look at this picture. With the help of sunlight, this photosynthesis process is going on, and you all know the process of photosynthesis, in which with the help of light, plants green plants prepare their food with the help of this green pigment, that is chlorophyll. Now see the next abiotic component, that is temperature. Temperature affects various activities of living organisms such as feeding, movement, growth, reproduction, etc. Then next abiotic component, air. All living organisms take in oxygen from air for respiration and give out carbon dioxide. Plants take in carbon dioxide from the air for making their food, so they also need air. During this process, they release oxygen gas, which is used by all living beings for respiration. Next abiotic component, water, very essential constituent of the body of all the organisms. Our body is made up of 70% of water. No organism can live without water. Living beings need water for carrying out their life activities. So water is necessary for digestion, absorption of food. It maintains proper muscle tone, body temperature. It supplies oxygen, nutrients to the cells, rids the body of water, and serve as a natural conditioning system. Now see the next abiotic component, that is soil. Soil is important for living things. It is essential for green plants, for all the plants actually. Plants take water and minerals from the soil only, and they grow in it. Animals also, they get food from plants. Many animals even live in the soil by making burrows or holes. So it is also equally important component, abiotic component. Now see how these components are interlinked. Interaction of abiotic and biotic components. Plants, animals, climate factors and soil factors are abiotic components. Plants and animals are biotic components, and biotic components are getting affected by these abiotic components. Now, one more picture. Impact of abiotic components. See, the sprouting of seed depends upon the abiotic components. Can you see that this is a seed which is sprouting, and the abiotic components like air, water, heat, light, they all are affecting it, and that is how it is germinating. So this picture shows the impact of abiotic components on the biotic component, which is a living component. Now we are going to start biotic components. As these are the living components, all life forms comes under biotic components. Life forms such as plants, animals, humans, these all come under biotic components. These are grouped as producers, consumers, and decomposers on the basis of the ways they utilize the energy. Now see producers. Green plants are producers. This we have discussed earlier also. Why? Because they produce food on earth. They contain a green pigment, that is chlorophyll. With the help of the chlorophyll, green plant produce food in the presence of sunlight using carbon dioxide and water. And this process is called photosynthesis. Since plants produce their food on their own, they are called autotrophs. Thus, all the animals and non-green plants depend on plants for food directly or indirectly. Now see heterotrophs. Animals and animals are called, or consumers are called heterotrophs. Those animals which are dependent. Animals cannot prepare their own food like green plants. So they consume either plants or animals. So they are called consumers or heterotrophs. According to the food they eat, consumers are of three types: herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. See, what are herbivores? Animals feeding on plant and plant products. They are called primary consumers also. Herbivores examples like deer, cow, elephant, horse. These are herbivores. Look at this picture. Plant eating herbivore. Then next type, carnivores. These animals feed on the animals like on the other animals. They are also called secondary consumers. For example, lion, tiger, wolf, etc. Then omnivores, these animals feed on both plants as well as on animals. Humans, crow, bear, etc. These are the examples of omnivores. Now see decomposers. Certain microorganisms, unicellular organisms like bacteria, fungi are called decomposers because they break down the dead parts of the plants and bodies of dead animals, and they are releasing nutrients from them into the environment. So they are helping in the recycling of minerals or nutrients in nature. That is why decomposers are also called nature's cleaners, because they keep the environment free of dead and rotting matter by consuming or breaking down them. Without decomposers, the earth would have been a heap of dead and decaying matter. Now see types of habitats. Broadly, they are grouped into two types: aquatic and terrestrial habitat. And in our next video, we are going to discuss about these habitats in details. Thank you for your attention. Keep enhancing your knowledge. Thank you.